Hey, this is Stacy from Let's Cook, y'all. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new, welcome. We're so glad you're here. We hope you enjoy these weekly What's for Dinner videos and you get some ideas for meals at your house. We'd love it if you'd hit that red subscribe button. We are back with a brand new week of meals, and this video is jam-packed. We've tried 3 new recipes, an Instant Pot recipe, a new salad, a new dessert, and we show you our Halloween traditions. Hope you enjoy all the meals in this week's video. The first meal we have for y'all this week is always a favorite here. It's super simple. I took some naan bread out of the freezer and thawed it out. I also took out some of my homemade pizza sauce. I'll leave a link to that recipe. We had some pepperoni and salami left over from a charcuterie board, and we layered all of that together with diced red onion, black olives, fresh mushrooms, some Italian seasoning, and 2 kinds of cheeses, and got them ready for the grill.
Would you like me to get it?
That would be nice.
Oh, that sucker's heavy. Got to grill at lunch. This is dark. So, did you burn yourself? What kind of time and temperature? You're on a high, a medium, a low?
It's pretty high right now, but I was letting it warm up, so we'll turn it down to medium.
So medium until everything's melted? Maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes?
Give it 3 minutes and then it'll be
alrighty.
Ready to check.
Or in the oven until everything's melted.
Since I had about 5 or 6 minutes, I put together a quick Caesar salad, some romaine, some Parmesan cheese, croutons. We also like a variation where we use feta and black olive, and then toss with the dressing.
About 5 or 6 minutes later.
5 minutes.
5 minutes later, they look pretty awesome. I'm going to show them your gloves. Oh, he has awesome gloves. So really easy pizzas on naan bread off the grill. Oh, Tim is hungry and ready to eat. And we've got enough for leftovers for lunch tomorrow. Some Caesar salad. Show you a quick picture of our plates. We are very excited. Couldn't be any easier, but couldn't be any more delicious. That's what's for dinner tonight.
Now we've got a new Instant Pot recipe for you. I had a 5-pound bag of russet potatoes. I don't know about y'all. When I buy a big bag of potatoes, I pretty much always make potato soup. I've made so many different variations of potato soup, but this one is now a new favorite. What I liked about it, it was very common ingredients. I had everything except the half and half, so I just substituted milk. And I liked that you cooked the potatoes in a steamer basket in the Instant Pot so that it didn't get quite so mushy. But let me go over real quick what we did and the ingredients, and as always, I will leave a link to the recipe that we tried. This one was a winner in our house. And I left out garlic from the list of ingredients. We will put the Instant Pot on saute. Someone pointed out that you don't need to put your hand over it to see if it's hot, but I found with the 3 different levels of saute or heat on the Instant Pot, sometimes you need to feel for the heat, even on the normal setting. So we will start sauteing the onion. It called for 2 tablespoons of butter, but I just used olive oil. The recipe says to cook these for about 4 or 5 minutes till they're soft and translucent. And then I've got another addition. So the last 30 seconds or so, I'll add some garlic, which was not in the original recipe. And then I will start adding spices and let them toast and bloom. I found that I really like toasting spices when I'm making soups or things like this, so I added 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of kosher salt. I did add some white pepper, a little dash or 1/8 teaspoon of red pepper, and some dried parsley. I didn't measure, I just shook some in. This is also not in the original recipe, but most of my potato soups I do use a little bit of thyme, so I'll sprinkle a little of that. Also my addition, some garlic powder and onion powder, even though we've got the garlic and the onion. And some chicken broth to deglaze with and pick up those spices. Whenever I saute anything in the Instant Pot, I'm really diligent to take my spatula and scrape the bottom and get up any stuck or burned on bits. I have not yet got a burn area, and I would really like to keep it that way. The original recipe calls for 2 cans, and I'm using a container, so I measured out about 14 ounces.
This will be our steaming liquid in the bottom. We're going to put in our steamer basket and add the potatoes.
Put on the lid, lock it in place, and always put the vent to ceiling.
The original recipe calls for 4 minutes. It calls for a 5-minute NPR. I may let mine NPR about 5 or 6, and then we'll open the IP and make sure that they are soft enough. For reference sake, I was busy doing other things, but it looks like it took it about 12-13 minutes to come to pressure. And the potatoes will start boiling, and then we'll let them NPR.
Rather than cooking bacon, I just crisped up some bacon bits from a big bag from Sam's Club in a skillet on the stove. My thyme's not doing too well because I stopped watering it. The chives are okay, and I'm going to cut some off to garnish the soup with. Disclaimer, the Instant Pot people say never put a towel over the vent when you're doing a quick release, but I don't like liquid spewing everywhere. We are waiting for that pin to drop, and of course when I walked away is when it did it. I'm going to take the lid off and check the potatoes.
If I had been thinking clearly, I would have left my handle in here because I do have to get these out. That's not funny. So I'm going to get my oven mitts on and see if I can dig it out, or tongs. Or make a hole and see if we can get the handle back in. Oh, that's not going to work.
Did you play in the sandbox when you were a kid?
I did not.
Okay.
I had a very unusual childhood.
Well, you can play in the potatoes as an adult, can't you?
Get my hand burned from all that steam. This is a steamer pressure cooker. But that's going to help get them out. I'm going to put the Instant Pot back on saute mode and heat it up. We will add a cornstarch slurry to the broth.
The original recipe calls for 2 tablespoons each of cornstarch and water. I'm sure you could use some other kind of thickener. We don't have any allergy problems, so we just use cornstarch.
We're going to stir this and thicken it, and then we will be adding the cheeses.
Since it's on saute, it's getting all nice and thick, sort of like a roux. All that flavor. Next, I added about 3 to 4 ounces of softened cream cheese. I cut it up into little bits and then stirred it in, tried to get everything melted and combined. Then add 1 cup of shredded cheese. I had a Colby Jack open, even though the original recipe called for cheddar. I'm sure anything will work. I'm taking the back of my spatula and scraping, make sure nothing is stuck. Again, I don't want to get that burn area. And the other can or the rest of the chicken broth will help it deglaze.
I lowered the saute mode while I was melting the cream cheese to less. I don't really like putting dairy products, cream cheese, shredded cheese, and we're fixing to add the milk over the regular or the high setting. I don't want anything to curdle. I'm also going to taste this for seasonings and adjust here. It's pretty good. I've said it before in almost every video that we show a soup. My secret ingredient to most soups is a dash of chipotle chili powder. It's not enough to make it spicy. It just gives it a nice little background flavor. So we will mix that in and then add the milk. The original recipe calls for corn. I'm not adding that today, although I'm sure it's very good. It would just be a potato corn chowder. It also requires, I think it was 6 pieces of bacon added to the soup. I took some bacon bits from a big bag at Sam's Club and crisped them up in a little skillet on my stovetop. I'm going to save some for garnish and add the rest to the soup and the potatoes.
This is a cup full of delicious, isn't it?
Is it too much liquid for you? I can cut back on the chicken broth or the milk next time. I actually kind of like the broth. Oh, you made a mess. Oh, fix that. Is it too brothy for you? You like kind of like a brothy potato soup, don't you? You could just cut back on the chicken broth or the milk.
I don't have a problem with the broth.
All right. We call that gilding the lily in my family. Some more cheese, bacon bits, chives. And I just had a hamburger bun left that I put garlic butter on that I made, toasted. Offered Tim a sandwich, and he said...
I don't know what he said. What did he say?
He said, I'm good with soup.
Oh, okay.
So Instant Pot chunky potato soup is what's for dinner tonight.
I saved 2 nice sized russet potatoes from that 5-pound bag and washed and scrubbed them really good at the sink and then poked holes in them with a fork. I was always taught to do that so they don't explode. Rubbed them really well with olive oil and then coated them in sea salt.
You could, of course, do these in the microwave in probably about 10 minutes. The oven probably in about an hour. I am going to try them in my air fryer. I've done smallish potatoes. They cook in about 30-35 minutes. I've done really giant spuds. They probably took close to 60. That's the beauty of an air fryer. You can pull them out and check them. I will take my fork and start sticking them. Probably around 15 or 20 minutes. I'm going to set mine on either 390 or 400 and start checking them. And I'll flip them halfway.
Per some viewer requests, we've muted the Alexa timers. I was so excited about this part. This is a new recipe for an autumn pear salad. The first thing we're going to do is get the pears ready, melt some butter and mix some maple syrup, and then get the pears cooking in that liquid until they're soft and starting to caramelize. While the pears were caramelizing over on the stove, and I probably did cook mine a little longer than I would like. I may try them raw next time. It's time to mix up the vinaigrette, and I've listed the ingredients below. 1/4 cup of orange juice, a tablespoon each of maple syrup and olive oil, a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and mix all that up with a little whisk.
Uh-oh.
Fruit.
There's fruit falling on your salad.
Fruit on your salad, darling. I know how much you love fruit. I have been dreaming about this salad ever since I saw it a couple weeks ago on Pinterest. And I was tickled pink that we went to Fresh Market for my, but you don't have to go that close, for my birthday happies, because they, unlike Kroger and Walmart, had golden raisins.
So when you said you were dreaming of this, was it a nightmare?
No, it's a happy dream. So we've got caramelized pears, toasted pecans, golden raisins. I didn't leave you any to snack on. And we made a maple vinaigrette. And I'm going to toss it so that everything's coated, but it's prettier like that, so we will do it like that.
Can you toss it without, like, utensils?
No, I'm going to toss it with 2 forks. I did some baked potatoes in the air fryer. We're going to cut them open. We've got some of this bacon cheddar ranch dip left from Sam's Club. And I thought I love bacon and cheddar and probably ranch or sour cream on a baked potato, so we're going to use that on the potatoes. So we're just having baked potatoes and salad, and that's what's for dinner tonight. Are you enamored of your butter?
I figured you'd want to see my butter on
Absolutely. I love your butter.
Big old deer.
I love your butter, baby.
There's a holiday for everything, but mark it on your calendars for next year. National Sandwich Day is every year on November 3rd. So I definitely wanted to take advantage of this one.
It is sandwich night at our house tonight. Tim's got turkey, bacon, cheese with some olives and chips, and
I took this opportunity to make something that I like that Tim absolutely did not want to eat, but once he tasted it, he loved it. This is something we're going to show in a separate forthcoming video. I made a quick seafood salad, put it on a toasted English muffin, cut me up a nice crisp gala apple on the side, and I was pretty much in heaven. In a non-COVID year, if we would have friends and family over with kids going trick-or-treating, I would fix mummy dogs, witch's brew, things like that. And I also fix...
Tonight's dinner couldn't be easier. There's probably a lot of variations of taco soup, but this is how we make it in our family. We brown the ground beef. I'm going to drain off the grease, and then I put in, undrained, a can of these ranch-style beans, 2 cans of rotel. Normally I do a can of Green Giant Nibbler's yellow corn. I couldn't find it. I actually hadn't been able to find it in the store for a while, so I bought the shoe peg. Hopefully it will be okay. We'll add some taco seasoning, some ranch seasoning, a little bit of water, simmer it for a while, and then we eat ours with Fritos. Show you the finished product. Taco soup is a family favorite in this house.
Our last new recipe is a dessert one, and yes, I found it on my Echo Show. We have Echo units all over the house, but I adore my Echo Show in the kitchen because I get, I think, about 4 new recipes a day, and we can also watch YouTube videos from Let's Cook Y'all on it.
What I liked about this recipe, it was really easy. It uses pantry ingredients that I already had. It is a small cake. It's just going to be in one buttered and cocoa powdered round pan, and you don't even need to pull out your mixer. So let's give this one a try.
As I said, you can do this all by hand. You'll take the 2 eggs and beat them, and then add the 1 1/3 cup of sugar in till everything's combined and pale yellow. And then we're going to sift in 1/2 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, and a nice pinch of salt. And I just used my little fine mesh strainer and put all that together, mixed it up, started working it through the sifter, and got all the little ground bits out. Mix this all together, then add a tablespoon of vanilla extract and 1/2 cup of butter that is melted, and go ahead and get all that combined and folded together.
I left my camera running. Once I had everything laid out in place, or mise en place, and I just added it. It took under 3 minutes and 30 seconds to put it together, so that's really quick.
I had my metal cake pan prepared. I'd taken about a tablespoon of butter and greased the pan, and then sprinkled in cocoa powder and got it covered. This actually still kind of stuck. I thought I had my pan prepared really well. You'll see in a minute that everything kind of stuck. Then take the batter and pour it in. I spread it around as best I could, and then I kind of slammed it on the countertop to get all the air bubbles out.
Bake at 350 for about 20 minutes.
The recipe says bake until the top is hardened, but the center should still be soft. Sprinkle powdered sugar on the top, and you can put fresh berries on it as well. If you've been here before, you know I'm an extreme chocoholic, so I was so excited for this one. We cut it when it was still hot, which is always a mistake. It cut really well, but I had trouble digging it out. It pretty much fell apart. No worries, we ate it. The recipe says this is a Swedish sticky cake. If you'll notice, it didn't really rise at all, and we actually thought it had more of the consistency, kind of like a pie, but it was delicious.
Let's see if it cuts any better once it's not hot. Oh yeah, cuts much better now.
This is a great recipe for 2 because it makes such a small amount. It just doesn't present well, so I wouldn't take it to a party or anything, but for us, it was a winner, and I will definitely make it again.
I was headed to Walmart today to pick up a couple of things on my list, and I called Tim on the way and said, "Is there anything you want or need from Walmart?" And he goes, "I'm almost out of Wickles pickles. You better buy me a jar." I said, "Okay, I'll get you one." And he goes, "No, on second thought, get me 2, or actually get as many as you want." So, sweetheart, I hope these are enough Wickles pickles for you for at least a month or 2. 4 jars. If you've tried this brand, let us know. He loves them. They're a little spicy for me, so I leave them all for him, and he still plows through them. Leave us a comment if you got a favorite pickle.
Thanks so much for stopping by and watching. Take care. Have a wonderful and truly blessed day.